want to get into this right out of the chute. Now, listen, as a fan, we kind of know what we have going into any season. You know, we're not always right, but we have a sense, like a general direction, right? We always hope to be good, but real fans are able to sift through that and extrapolate what needs to be extrapolated to get the real answer. Like, we're legit, or we're going nowhere. Like the Jets last season and the Giants. You just knew. I mean, if this thing gets into October and they're not buried yet, that would be a win. And then a lot of times you're kind of in between, right? Where, you get a little break. This young guy develops. This happens. This free agent, whatever. The New York Mets, I find this so interesting. Now, again, I'm not a Mets fan, so I'm coming from a different place. This is not emotional, all right? And when emotion seeps in, you might have a different feel or a different answer, all right? This is based on history, and I believe it's fairly pragmatic. You ready? The New York Mets, and there will be no in between this year. This will be either the best Mets season since 1986, or it will be the most disappointing Mets season in the history of their franchise. 86, euphoric, amazing, or colossal, unmitigated disappointment. Now, I say that because think about the emotional, already, the volatility that many of you have felt, right? Going back to, they hire Buck before the lockout, right? Well, first Cohen's here, checkbook present, boom. Buck is here, you get Marte, you get Cotta, you just go out, you do some things right away. And then you ride that wave, and Yankee fans, we're sitting there saying, well, when are we getting something? Well, after the lockout, but the Met fans from the get-go were feeling awesome, and rightfully so. And then spring training starts. Boom. Down goes DeGrom. Next day, Scherzer's hammy. Tyler McGill's taking the pearl on opening day, and he's been great, but it's not DeGrom, and it's not Scherzer. So you go from this nice crest of a wave during the offseason to, boom, at least this emotional thud, right? As a Mets fan, because you, like the Jets and the Knicks, and recently the Giants, you are conditioned, unfortunately, to think the worst. But then what happens? The wave picks back up. Season starts. Haven't lost a series yet. You're first in almost every category. The energy is palpable. You're 10-4. You're getting ready to wipe the floor with the Diamondbacks this weekend. Lindor's bowling. Told you he would. The bullpen's been great. That I'm not sold on yet, but it's been terrific. And everything is lining up for the Mets to not only be terrific this entire season, but to take you to a place you haven't been since 86. And when it's that long a wait, think about all the years since 86. I mean, that's encompassing a lot. I was in grammar school in 1986. So what were you doing in 86 besides nothing?
I was 9 years away from being born.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, come on. I think Evan was literally born in 86, right?
I think Evan said he was 5 yesterday.
No, there's no way Evan was 5.
No, I was 4, so Evan's 3. I think Evan's a year younger than me.
Okay, but he was born, right? So he was a couple years old.
He was alive, yeah.
So, you think about most of the years in Mets history, and I'm not trying to throw a jab at you, but they've been largely inconsequential. I mean, they just have been, right? Doesn't mean you haven't had some fun going to the ballpark and, your favorite players and memories. I'm not saying that. But the Mets, if you think about the great years, you can count them on one hand, right? And really, you can count on one hand the agonizing years. And when I said to start the show that this is either going to be like the most euphoric, best Mets season since 86 or the absolute complete antithesis, the worst, here's why, all right? So you look at really 4 years jump out. Obviously, in 88, you guys won 100 games, right? You jump into first place in May, never look back. That 88, it's criminal Mets didn't win the World Series that year. Phenomenal, right? They win the division by 15, 16 games. Coney wins 20 games. Darrell's second in the MVP. And you lose to the Dodgers, a team that you were so much better than. Like the Dodgers of 81, yeah, they were really good. The Dodgers of 88, no, Mets should have won, and you know that. And then in 92, and this is what I mean when you tie in the the emotional volatility of being a fan, but really specifically for this conversation, a Mets fan. 92, you ride the free agent frenzy wave. You guys remember this? Maybe Zoo doesn't because were you born yet in 90?
I was -3 at that point.
Hey, we're trending towards Zoo's existence. It's a good thing, right? But Met fans old enough, you'll remember this. Remember the free agent frenzy? Oh, Bonilla, Vince Coleman, Eddie Murray spent a boatload of money. What happened that year? The Mets didn't even score 600 runs. They scored the 5th fewest runs in baseball. Unmitigated mess. And I know Zoo was around for this one. Then we fast forward to 07. Collapse. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time on this. I'll say it, I'll say it respectfully with the inflection. Collapse. We move on. 08. Not quite as pronounced as the previous collapse. But once again, a collapse. So you guys have weathered the emotions, right? And here you are. And don't get me wrong, there's a few of you. I took a call yesterday. We're going to lose to the Diamondback. Remember that guy? Great guy. I think his name was Bobby. He was taking 13 kids that he coaches CYO basketball for, which is awesome. And he's going to the game, which obviously, the Mets win again. Take 3 out of 4 from a really good team. And he's telling me on the phone, I think it was the first call I took on the show. Well, I'm going to City. I can't wait to win. But I'm not feeling too good about today. I don't like the way we lost last night. I think we're going to have a rough time against Arizona this way. Whoa, jeez, man. You guys are 9-3 at this point, whatever, 9-4. You lead the league in everything. What are you doing, dude? So, we had to tap into his mind a little bit and get him rewired. But that is not the outlier Met fan. It's not. Just like, you hear this all the time, and you used to hear it with Beningo in this slot, and you still hear it with Evan. There are off seasons, most off seasons, I expect the Jets to do nothing. Then there are off seasons, like this one, where you get really pumped up. Oh, here we go. Offensive line, money. Barrios is back. Moore's going to be a beast. Michael Carter's going to be great. We might trade for who? We tried to get Tyreek Hill. We might get Debo. We got 2 tight ends. What's going on? Lawson's coming back. Last play schedule. Let's go. So maybe I'm setting myself up for that emotional, beatdown that I think some Met fans still think they're going to deal with this summer. I don't. Now, again, I don't have an ounce of emotional investment in the Mets. I don't. I watch them. Number one, I've always watched them. Always. Because my dad's a Mets fan. But, no, and now I watch him again, doing local again. I watch him as much as I watch the Yankees. I literally go back and forth. You record one, boom, 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 boom. The nightly carousel, right? Baseball up the wazoo, which I love. But I'm not emotionally invested in the Mets. You are. So when I say, and Huff, I want you to weigh in first. When I say, based on Stevie Cohen, based on Buck, based on the expectations, based on, the roller coaster, DeGrom's hurt, Scherzer's back, DeGrom might get good news on Monday, great start to the season. When I say to start the show, that it's either going to be all the way over here, like 86, and I know it's a different team. That 86 team, pretty much unrivaled. I don't mean that they've got those kind of players, but a World Series legitimately in their grasp, or just a complete thud. Now, I know that you're more of a positive guy, so I know you're not going to the thud, but would you agree that emotionally, the Met fan is in a position to theoretically be let down and destroyed in a way that they had not been. And I know World Series, you guys were close in 15, I know. But this is the whole season. This is a long ride. Where are you at?
Listen, first of all, you nailed a lot of it. I'm also hating the fact that you came so hot at me right now because I asked you to bring me a little Mets love today.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're bringing me, listen, I am, since Steve Cohen has taken over, I've been trying to be more optimistic. But I was that, let's go, we're going to have a contender, or we didn't do it. I was always riding down with this team, and it was killing me for the past couple decades.
Oh, you're a real fan,
yeah.
Which is why we respect it.
But the problem is that you literally put me back in that mentality of, wow, this could be an all or nothing season again, and I want to stay out of there.
Well,
so
let's
you
face
brought me
it. No,
back
I get you. But think about the way it started, right? And again, I don't know if you're going to sweep the Diamondbacks. The randomness in baseball. Do I think you win twice? Yeah. Do I think you hit a bunch of home runs in that ballpark? Yeah. I think the Mets have a fun weekend. I think they get minimally to 12-5. If you sweep them, you're 13-4. Things are great. I know you got some good teams coming up down the road. I understand that. But now the offseason positivity now flowing into the early part of the season, amplifying the positivity if, operative word, if it goes thud, this will be on the short list of awful Mets seasons.
And we have the reason why I agree with you on that, and I hate to say this because Mets fans have felt this and seen this before with the Callaway era. There was a season we had a 10 or we went 10-0 or 10-1 or 1
was 11-1?
Yeah, we had like 10.
It's like 13-2 at one.
Yeah,
no,
it was ridiculous the winning streak that they were on, and then they finished under 500.
Yes.
So just imagine the turns it took to get under 500, how bad they had to be, and they were. If that team somehow, listen, whenever the Mets are supposed to be a World Series team. They end up finishing under 500.
That's true.
That is, if this team finishes under 500,
well, except the 86 team.
Well, that's the one.
Usually
and
the
only.
Mets overachieve. Like they overachieved in 69, obviously.
They
73.
overachieved in 15. People don't believe me on that. The
No,
fact
no,
that
I
I say
agree with
that,
that.
that
I agree with
15
that.
was unexpected. That's why
agree.
it was like you kind of enjoyed the ride, but we didn't get the full taste because until they
We didn't even have Cespedes in spring training, so you couldn't get yourself in a position mentally to think that you could do that.
And we were told by Sandy, among others, next year would be the year we'd compete for playoffs.
Yes.
And then we went to the World Series.
Yes.
So high expectations, and the next year just collapsed.
Well, that's why I gave you a couple of years, like the 88 season, the 92 season, 07, 08, with those collapses.
You give me anxiety, dude.
No,
I don't
but
want it already. It's 10:15 on a Friday.
Dude, I'm trying to lift you up. I'm actually saying I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, thank you for that. But the fact that you even brought it back there, because I've been so confident with this team. I've been so cocky with this team.
Fans should never be cocky.
I know,
Let's be
but
honest.
that's the problem.
They haven't earned that.
But we want, with this ownership, it should be different, and that's where I'm looking forward to what they're doing. Listen, Tacoma put out a tweet. They're on pace for 116 wins.
Wait, Stevie Cohen put that out?
No, Anthony Tacoma.
Oh, Tacoma, yeah,
Be right for the Mets. He said, realistically, this is the pace. He does it after every game. 116 is the win total if they continue this pace.
Well,
right
I mean,
now.
that's moronic.
But
I mean, I'm not saying
they're so good.
He shouldn't tweet stuff like that. But I mean, if you're getting wrapped up on a tweet where it's April 20, whatever, 116 win pace, tap the brakes, buddy.
No.
Now I got to get in your head.
I
and
don't
say,
want to
if
tap
you're
the
led, I mean,
brakes.
dude.
Come on.
All right, I didn't think I'd have to reel you in that much. I hate to break it to you. Mets aren't winning 116 games.
Did you tell me this is not the best team in the league?
First of all, those words didn't come out of my mouth.
I know you didn't say that, but I that's how I feel. Do you look at this pitching rotation?
Dodgers are better.
No, stop that.
They are.
Stop that nonsense. Stop
Dodgers
that nonsense.
are better.
We have, when DeGrom comes back, we have 5 starting pitchers that can go into the 7th, 8th inning. What other team?
Dude,
in the league
the
can
Mets
do that?
have the best staff in baseball.
Exactly. There you
Carrasco
go.
was great.
What is still? And listen, I have a friend that used to catch for him and with the Indians. Told me how good this guy could be when healthy. I mean, yesterday he proved it again. It's unbelievable.
What do you mean you had a friend that you played catch with him in the out? What do you mean?
I got my boy Jan Gomes with the Cubs right
Gomes,
now.
that's right. You know,
He's my boy. He's telling me how good. Listen, he's called Carrasco, Bassett, Scherzer.
Great. All right, I got you. We
Mets,
we watched him pitch with the Indians. We knew he was pretty good. We didn't need your buddy to tell us that. 877-337-6666. Teak is off today. We're back together on Monday. We'll get the Yankee Turning Point coming up in a little bit. We've got David Deal, our buddy, 2-time champ, David Deal. He's awesome, coming up at 11:40. Talk about the G-Men, Yankee tickets at 12:20. And, of course, we're inside the Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair you always get guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. All right, let's start things up, and let's get to Chris in Manhattan on the Fan. Chris, you're first up. Let's go.
Hey, man, great to be here, Brandon.
Okay.
Listen, I have to say, I know what you're talking about as a Met fan, but just for some context from my point of view.
Okay.
You referenced 1988. You're absolutely right. The reason 1988 turned was because David Cohn wrote a moronic op-ed ripping on the Dodgers closer. Tommy Lasorda took that article and motivated his team beyond anything anyone would have thought. So these things can happen that are not even determined on the team's talent or record, right? I mean, that whole thing, I always remember that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Now, you can't quantify that. Neither can I. I'm not trying to shoot you down, but did Lasorda use it back then? Certainly bulletin board stuff, no doubt. But I mean, our buddy Darling got shelled in Game 7, and that Mets team, they woefully underachieved. Was it because of Lasorda saying that? I don't know, but the Mets just didn't get it done.
100%. No, the Mets should have. And Lasorda certainly was a great motivator. That's been proven. But here's the thing on your statement. I think if you ask Mets fans, I get where you're coming from. I think you'd have to ask, we all have to ask each other personally, what is our expectation? So for me, living in the moment, enjoying this, trying not to have the PTSD infuse my thoughts.
Yeah.
To me, the only real disastrous failure would be either they don't make the playoffs at all or they get knocked out early. If they go deep into the playoffs and into the World Series, I don't consider this season a failure at all.
I would agree with that. I would agree. It might be processed a little differently if DeGrom's healthy. If Scherzer makes the 30-plus starts and, if they're on the mound and the Mets were to lose, a playoff series, then it's like, oh, geez, man. We got here and our horses are healthy and, like Cole getting shelled a year ago against the Red Sox. That would really bring a different feeling into the offseason. See, listen, my best advice to Met fans, but you're not gonna take the advice, and I wouldn't either, quite frankly. But my advice to you is to take it one day at a time. But we don't do that. I'm aware of that. We don't do that with anything. Here I am yesterday, and I stand by this. If the Jets have a good draft, I said on this show that the Jets are knocking on the door to being really good for a while. Now, some people might hear that and say, the Jets, listen to this guy. I mean, what a homer. No, it's based on what I think they have and what I think they might do on draft night and or trade. Could be wrong, but my mind, went there. And those words came out of my mouth. So when I say take it day by day, yeah, we probably should, but you're not going to, with the good and the bad. So just ride the wave because it's going to be all over the map. But I think it's going to be much more favorable than not. I do. I really think this Mets team is good. I've said that. 877-337-6666. Yanks, guy, could you get a hit? I mean, how the hell do you get shut out to those? The Tigers. I'll get into that later. Wow. And, of course, Boone made the right move. There's no doubt. Shut up, Tiger fans. Morons. Nah, actually, I worked out there for a minute, but you sounded like more. And I get it, too, but it's the baseball move. Hey, Hicks, can you lay out? Can you get your uniform dirty? I mean, it's one thing if you don't deliver with guys on base, at the corners, big spot. Can you try to catch the bloop? I'll get to the Yanks later. All right, Tiki and Tierney on the fan, 877-337-6666. David Deal next hour on the Giants, and we're here almost 4 more hours, so we got a lot to hit before Craig and Evan take over on the fan.